Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Gentlemen, today's lecture topic is Fundamentals of Trigonometry. Book has been uploaded on LMS, that is of intermediate book, and these contents I have taken from there. You must go through these chapters which I am mentioning here. So chapter number 9 and chapter number 10. They pertain to your trigonometric ratios and their concepts. So go through. Let me give you the definition from where this word has been derived. Trigonometry has been derived from three Greek words. Tri means three, gonia means angles, and metron means the measurement. So literally it means the measurement of a triangle. And gentlemen, remember, whenever I ask you a question that you solve the following triangle, in a triangle there are three sides and three angles. So three of the informations will be given to you, and the remaining three you are to calculate. The solution of a triangle means to find all the three sides and all the three angles. Next, let me tell you about the coterminal angles, in which the terminal side is same, means coterminal. Coterminal. So angles, you know, this is formed by two arms, and where the two arms join each other, that is called the vertex. In this case, vertex is O. So I have drawn an angle POQ. This is assumed that is theta. You know, Greek letters alpha, beta, gamma, delta, theta, etc. They are used to represent an angle. So here I am taking theta. You will be using alpha, beta, etc., etc. That we'll be doing in the next part of our lecture. Well, if I revolve this OP side is called the initial side, and OQ is called the terminal side. If I revolve my terminal side in the anti-clockwise direction, angle is said to be positive, and if the terminal side is revolved along the clockwise direction, the angle is said to be negative. And in this case, I'm revolving it in the anti-clockwise direction. OQ, this is the terminal side. It is being revolved in the anti-clockwise direction. The moment it reaches again at the same position of OQ, it will be completing 360 degrees, or in radians we call it 2 pi radians. So it is going to complete 2 pi, and after every 2 pi revolution, the side will be the same. I mean, the terminal side will reach the same position. That's why we call it the coterminal angles. I mean, the terminal side is same, but of course the angles are different. Here it is theta. After one revolution, this becomes theta plus 2 pi. After two complete revolutions, this will become theta plus 4 pi, and so on and so forth. So these angles are known as the coterminal angles. Where do we say angle is in the standard position? Remember, an angle is said to be in the standard position if its vertex lies at the origin and its initial side along the positive x-axis. Okay, your initial side is in the positive x-axis and the vertex is at the origin. The terminal side may be in the first quadrant, may be in the second quadrant, it may come in the third, or may come in the fourth quadrant. So this is the angle in the standard position. Next is the trigonometric functions. This is very important. Though you have studied many times in your intermediate, you have been using physics as well, but still in the forthcoming questions, if I ask that in sine theta, we take the ratio of which of the two sides, you will be blank. This is not good. So I'm teaching here, and keep in mind, when do we divide one side by the other and what particular trigonometric function we get. So consider a triangle ABC with angle C as a 90 degree, as shown in the figure. Measure of angle A is theta. There are 6 possible ratios of the sides. These ratios are called the trigonometrical functions. You see, you may divide perpendicular by hypotenuse or hypotenuse by the perpendicular. Similarly, base divide by the hypotenuse or hypotenuse you divide by the base. Likewise, perpendicular you divide by base or base you divide by the perpendicular. Maximum, these are the 6 possibilities, and the mathematicians have given 6 different names to these ratios. So in case when you divide perpendicular by the hypotenuse, the name of the trigonometric ratio is sine of theta. Similarly, once you divide base by hypotenuse, the name of the function is cos theta. And if you divide perpendicular by the base, this is called tangent theta. The remaining 3 are the reciprocal functions. The name of the reciprocal function of sine theta is cosecant theta. And you just take its reciprocal. So you will divide hypotenuse by the perpendicular for cosecant theta. The name of the reciprocal function of cos theta is secant theta. And in this case, you divide hypotenuse by the base. The name of the reciprocal function of tangent theta is cotangent theta. And in this case, we divide base by the perpendicular. So you have to keep in mind this fact always. And also you must be careful while you are preparing a triangle. Remember, these ratios are taken from the right angle triangle. The lengthiest side is called the hypotenuse, and the angle is adjacent with the other side. You see, you know, 2 sides are needed for the formulation of an angle. So the adjacent side will be known as the base, and the side which is in front of theta, that is will be perpendicular. So this must be kept in mind. Then as the reciprocal functions, cosecant theta is 1 upon sine theta, or if you vice versa, you bring sine theta here and cosecant theta here, the sine theta will be written as 1 over cosecant theta. Likewise, secant theta is 1 over cos theta. If I bring cos theta this side and secant theta in the denominator, so you may write cos theta as 1 upon secant theta. Similarly, cotangent theta is 1 upon tangent theta, or tangent theta is equal to 1 over cotangent theta. Then is the quotient relations. Tangent theta is equal to sine theta upon cos theta. Or similarly, cos theta, cotangent theta can be written as cos theta upon sine theta. These are the Pythagorean relations, very important relations. Sine square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1. 1 plus tangent square theta is equal to secant square theta. And 1 plus cotangent square theta is cosecant square theta. These are the fundamental trigonometrical identities. They have been derived from the Pythagoras theorem. So that's why they are called as Pythagorean relations, but they are in case of trigonometric functions. Then the important thing is to note down the signs of the trigonometric function, that which of the trigonometric function is positive in which quadrant and which one is negative in which particular quadrant. So at times you will come across such problems where you need to know the signs of the trigonometrical ratios in particular quadrants. In front of you on the screen, see, I have drawn x and y axis together at the origin. The page is divided into 4 equal parts, and each part is known as quadrant. Quadrant you write from x, o, y, this is the first quadrant, and y, o, x dash, this is known as the second quadrant, x dash, o, y dash, this is the third quadrant, y dash, o, x, that is the fourth quadrant. So we go anti-clockwise direction to write the quadrants. And now I'm writing one word, that is ACTS, ACTS. It is consisting of 4 letters, and you have to drop each letter in each quadrant, but in the clockwise direction, starting from quadrant 1 again. A will come in the first quadrant, C will come in the fourth quadrant, T in the third quadrant, and S will go in the second quadrant. Let me tell you that A stands for all the trigonometric functions. There are 6 trigonometric functions you have studied right now. They are all positive. Now, C stands for cos, its reciprocal is secant. Cos and secant are positive in the fourth quadrant, and the remaining 4 will be negative. In the third quadrant, note down T is there, T for tangent, and its reciprocal function is cotangent. They are positive in the third quadrant. The remaining 4 are negative in the third quadrant. Similarly, S is here. S has been dropped in the second quadrant. Sine, S for sine, and its reciprocal function will be cosecant. So sine theta and cosecant theta, they are positive in the second quadrant, and the remaining 4 will be negative in this quadrant. तो आगे चल के concept जरूरत पड़ेगी आपको, so you must remember them. And one important relation you must also remember: sine of minus theta is minus times sine theta, and cos of minus theta is as good as cos theta. Okay, if the angle is negative, sine of minus theta will be minus times sine theta, but cos of minus theta will remain cos theta. I'm taking 1 or 2 questions from this exercise 9.2. The remaining you should do yourself. Find the sines of the following. Well, sine of 160 degree. If we sketch sine 160 degree, of course, this is lesser than 180 degree. 180 degree means an angle on the straight line. This is less than that, so your terminal side of the angle will come in quadrant number 2. If angle is in quadrant number 2, and you are interested in the sine, SIN sine, right? Little before you have dropped the letters A, C, T, S. S was dropped in second quadrant, and S was standing for sine. The sine in the second quadrant will be positive. Okay, you know it. The sine 60 degree will be positive also. He is just asking you what is the sine of this angle. Similarly, cosecant 297. Cosecant is reciprocal of sine. I have told you a little earlier. 297 degree will come in the fourth quadrant, as I have drawn here in the figure. Go anti-clockwise, 297 degree cover. And then in the fourth quadrant, you see, in first and second, sine is positive, and its reciprocal will also be positive. But in third and fourth, sine will also be negative, as well as reciprocal. Cosecant will also be negative. So cosecant of 297 degrees will be negative. So this is the way that you come to know about the sine of the angle. Now another important question. This is question number 4. Find the values of the remaining trigonometric functions where cos of theta is 9/41 and the terminal arm is in quadrant number 4. So the author is giving you certain informations. He is giving you the value of only one trigonometrical function, that is cos theta, and also telling you that theta is in fourth quadrant. Okay, so the terminal side is in the fourth quadrant. You are to make a triangle here, gentlemen, and remember one thing: whenever you are to make a triangle, your base of the triangle should be on the x-axis. Okay, always. Whatever the quadrant may be, the base should touch your x-axis, maybe positive x-axis or maybe negative x-axis. In this case, cos theta and quadrant is 4. So cos theta, you know, we had been taking the ratio of the base to the hypotenuse. Base upon hypotenuse is cos theta. So base value in this case is 9 and your hypotenuse is 41 that I have written here. So hypotenuse is 41, base is 9. So once you complete a triangle here in fourth quadrant like this, so your base is 9, okay, and 41 is the hypotenuse. The lengthiest side is called the hypotenuse. This is 41. Once two of the sides are known, you apply the Pythagoras theorem to find the third side because this triangle is a right angle triangle. The formula for the Pythagoras theorem is hypotenuse square is equal to the base square plus the perpendicular square. Substitute the values. Hypotenuse is your 41, 41 square, base is 9, 9 square, plus p square as it is, p is for the perpendicular. 41 square is 1681, 9 square is 81. Once you simplify, p square will be equal to 1600, and you take the square root of other side, p will be equal to 40. Well, here the numerical value of p is 40, but the moment you will be putting it here in the figure, I am to attach a minus sign. Not always, but depending upon the situation. Now, I am telling you the logic reason for that. This perpendicular, if you note it down, is coming parallel to the negative y-axis. Okay, so every line drawn along the negative y-axis, so the value will be negative for that. So this is the reason I am attaching a minus sign. Perpendicular, well, if a triangle is there in the third quadrant, again perpendicular will be coming downwards. So for every line which is parallel to the negative y-axis, you are to attach a minus sign. Okay, once my triangle is complete, then it is very easy to find all the trigonometric ratios. Sin theta, perpendicular upon the hypotenuse. So minus 40 upon 41, this will be the value of sin theta. Cos theta, is based upon the hypotenuse, that will become 9 upon 41. And tangent theta, perpendicular upon the base, so minus 40 upon 9. Once come to know about these three values, you take its reciprocal and you'll get the remaining three. So the reciprocal function of sin theta is written as cosecant theta. And just upside down ka is the 41 will go in the numerator position and 40 will come in the downward position. Minus will remain at the same position. Minus से फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. नीचे भी लिखें तो ऊपर भी दिया जा सकता है minus. The reciprocal function of cos theta is secant theta. So value will be 41 upon 9. The reciprocal function of tangent theta is cotangent theta. इसको reciprocate कीजिए, 9 will go up and 40 will come down. So minus 9 by 41. So only one trigonometrical function was given to us, and remaining 5 we have calculated, but nevertheless we had made a triangle for that. And the sides, and you must be very much careful. The side is along the negative y-axis or along the negative x-axis. You are to attach a minus sign in either case. Similarly, question number 5, you can do. Here the sine theta is given as minus 1 by 2, and the terminal arm is not in coordinate number 3. You have to use your common sense. Sine theta is negative. You know very well sine theta is positive in first and second quadrant. This is also up. So this value cannot be in first and second quadrant. Further, the author is saying that it is not even in quadrant number 3. The 3 may be nahi. The first, second, third. You just delete these quadrants, so the angle will come in the fourth quadrant. As usual, you have to make a right angle triangle. Perpendicular will go along the negative y-axis. This is the hypotenuse. So for sine theta, perpendicular over the hypotenuse. Your perpendicular will become minus 1 because this is going along the negative y-axis. and hypotenuse will be under root 2. Again apply the Pythagoras theorem. This base will also be calculated as 1. Base will be 1. Now, once you find all the trigonometric sides of the right angle triangle, then there's no harm in finding any trigonometrical ratios. Sine of theta, you know, perpendicular over the hypotenuse minus 1 over under root 2. Cos of theta base upon hypotenuse, this will be 1 upon under root 2. And tangent theta perpendicular upon the base in minus 1 upon 1 will remain minus 1. Just take the reciprocal of these three, you will get the remaining. The reciprocal function of sine theta is cosecant theta. The answer will be minus under root 2. It will come in the numerator. Similarly, the name of the cos theta is secant theta. Secant theta will become under root 2. And name of the tangent theta, the reciprocal function of that, will be cos theta, and answer will be minus 1 upon 1 will remain minus 1. Now are the fundamental laws of the trigonometry. In front of you, sine alpha plus beta will be sine alpha cos beta, and then put a plus sign if it is in between plus sign, cos alpha sine beta. And in case plus, instead of plus you are having a minus sign, just put a minus sign in between. Values will remain the same. Sine alpha cos beta minus cos alpha sine beta. This is for sine. Now we go for the cos alpha plus beta. So in case of cos, you take cos of both the angles first, and in between, if there is a plus sign, make it a minus sign, and then take the sine of both the angles next. So the expression will become cos alpha cos beta minus times sine alpha sine beta. In case there is a minus sign in between, then it will become plus on the right side. The remaining values will remain the same. Similarly, tangent alpha plus beta. Look here, I'll take the tangent of the first angle, plus sign is there, so put a plus sign, and then take the tangent of the second angle. 4 divided by 1. And in the numerator, if it was plus, so here you are to write minus sign in the denominator. So 1 minus, and just multiply these two tangents which you have written in the numerator, tangent alpha and tangent beta, multiply. This is the way you are to remember. And in case there is tangent alpha minus beta, tangent alpha, tangent of the first angle minus times tangent of the second angle, then 1. And because we have taken minus in the numerator, so there will be a plus sign in the denominator. And just multiply tangent alpha with tangent beta. This will be your second term in the denominator. Look here, this is exercise 10.2, and I'm taking one question. Question is that if sine alpha is 4 by 5 and sine beta is 12 by 13, where alpha lies between pi by 2 to pi. You know, pi by 2 is 90 degree angle and pi is 180 degree. I mean, these angles are given in the, what do we say, radians. And if you express radians into degrees, pi by 2 is 90 degree and pi is 180 degree. So alpha is, now you are to take between 90 to 180 degree, means is it will come in the second quadrant. This is your second quadrant. The same is the case for beta. Beta is also lying in the second quadrant. So you have to draw two different right angle triangles, one for alpha angle and another for beta angle. And now we have to complete the triangles. For sine alpha, the value is 4 by 5. And you know, for sine alpha, you take the ratio of perpendicular to the hypotenuse. So 4 by 5. So 4 is your perpendicular and our hypotenuse is 5. And if you apply the Pythagoras theorem, this is the Pythagoras theorem, base square is hypotenuse square minus the perpendicular square. So base square will be equal to hypotenuse square will become 5 square is 25 minus times 4 square is 16. 25 minus 16 will be 9. And you take the square root of either side, so b will be equal to 3. But what are we going to do with 3? Not you are to write only 3 for the base. You are to use your common sense because this base is along the negative x-axis. So you are to attach a negative sign from your side. Okay. In the calculation, these 3, but here in the figure, it should carry a negative sign because this is along the negative x-axis. Similarly, we complete the triangle in for angle beta. Sine beta is 12 by 13, means perpendicular is 12 and hypotenuse is 13. Perpendicular is 12, hypotenuse is 13. Just apply your Pythagoras theorem. 5 will be the base, but again you are to attach a minus sign. Now after completing these two triangles, you need to find the value of, actually question is find the value of cos alpha plus cos beta, and according to the formula, you know, if we expand it, this will become cos alpha cos beta minus times sin alpha sin beta. So I told you if the 3 sides of a triangle are known, any of the trigonometrical ratio can be calculated easily. What for alpha? What will be the cos alpha? You know, based upon the hypotenuse. So minus 3 by 5 is the value of cos alpha. Then cos beta based upon the hypotenuse minus 5 by 13. Okay, just substitute in this formula. The remaining values are given to you in the question. Put these values. Cos alpha plus cos beta. Here cos alpha is minus 3 by 5. Cos beta is given to you. This is minus 5 by 13. Minus the sin alpha is 4 by 5. And sin beta. Sin beta will come from here 12 by 13. Rather, this is given to you. Just simplify. This will become minus plus 15 by 65 and minus 12 into 448 by 65. LCM is same 65, and then the numerator you are left with minus 33 upon 65. Yes, the values you have already calculated. From the same triangles, you can calculate the values for tangent alpha, tangent beta. Put them here and calculate. So this is just a practice of different formulas. Triangles are same. ये आप कर लीजिएगा. I have selected a question for you. Sin alpha plus beta and cos alpha plus beta you have to find. And given that tangent alpha is this and sin beta is this. Well, for alpha you have to make another triangle, and for beta you have to make another triangle. Now in this case, tangent alpha is perpendicular upon the base. Okay. So your perpendicular is 15. And well, you have to decide first in which quadrant you have to plot them. Okay, and neither the terminal side of alpha nor beta is in fourth quadrant. So fourth quadrant में अब लेना नहीं है, ठीक है? First में भी ये नहीं आएंगे because they are all negative. So neither fourth quadrant nor the first quadrant. अब tangent alpha is positive in the third quadrant, you know. So this will finally come in quadrant number 2. And sin beta negative कहाँ होगा? बताइए. In the third and fourth quadrant, लेकिन fourth में आपने नहीं जाना. So this will come, sin beta will come in the third quadrant and tangent alpha will come in the second quadrant. This you are to use your own thinking there where or in which quadrant alpha will be lying and in which quadrant beta will be lying. So alpha in this case is lying in quadrant number 2 and beta is lying in quadrant number 3. Then complete the triangles and with the help of these two sides, find the third side by applying the Pythagoras theorem in both the cases. Once the triangle is complete and you know all the sides, then you can find any of the trigonometrical ratio from them and just evaluate these two values, sin alpha plus beta and cos alpha plus beta. Now is the formula of the double angles. Just little before you had been studying these formulas, fundamental laws of the trigonometry. You see, you have just gone through this one. In case of the first formula, if I replace beta by alpha, then sine alpha plus alpha will become sine 2 alpha on the left side, and put beta as alpha on the right side. So sine alpha cos alpha plus cos alpha, again sine alpha, because I'm replacing beta by alpha. So these two terms which are written on the right side will become similar. Sin alpha cos beta or cos alpha. No, beta has gone now. Sin alpha cos alpha and cos alpha sin alpha. The same thing. So this will become twice the sin alpha cos beta. Cos alpha, sorry. Sin alpha cos alpha. 2 times हो जाएगा. And here you will be writing sin of 2 alpha. See, this is the formula. So sin 2 alpha will be written as 2 sin alpha cos alpha. Cos 2 alpha is cos alpha plus alpha. So cos alpha into cos alpha minus sin alpha into sin alpha as per formula. So cos alpha into cos alpha will become cos square alpha minus sin alpha into sin alpha will become sin square alpha. Now by Pythagoras relation I have just told you. If I replace sin square alpha as 1 minus cos square alpha, but in the bracket because minus sign is outside, 1 minus cos square alpha. So open the bracket, this will become minus 1 plus cos square alpha. That plus cos square alpha will be added here. So 2 cos square alpha and minus 1. Similarly, if I write cos square alpha as 1 minus sin square alpha, so minus sin square alpha will be added here. So 1 minus 2 sin square alpha. So in that way, you are going to have 3 of the relations equivalent for cos 2 alpha. Here both sin cos, here only cos, here only sin. In the same style, tangent alpha plus alpha is 2 alpha. So the formula will become 2 tangent alpha over 1 minus tangent square alpha. Half angle identities, sin alpha by 2, you have to remember. Plus minus the square root of 1 minus cos alpha and whole divided by 2. 2 is inside this under root. And for cos alpha, the values are same except the sign is changed. Here is minus sign for sin, but plus sign will be there for cos. So square root of 1 plus cos alpha whole divided by 2 plus minus sign. This is for cos alpha by 2. And for tangent alpha by 2, we divide sin value by the cos value. Denominator will be cancelled. The 1 minus cos alpha will come in the numerator and 1 plus cos alpha will go in the denominator. That is your half angle identity. Then gentlemen, product to sum formula and sum to product formula. They are also very important. Now here in this case, 2 of the trigonometric functions have been multiplied. So identity will become, you multiply it with 2 and then the right side will become sin alpha plus beta plus sin alpha minus beta. And in case cos is occupying first position and sin is occupying the second position, the rest everything is same. Just interchanging the position of sin and cos. So there will be only a change in the negative sign on the right side. The rest values are same. Okay, sin alpha plus beta minus times sin alpha minus beta. For 2 cos alpha cos beta, we'll be writing both places cos at the both places. Cos times alpha plus beta and then plus cos alpha minus beta. In case it is here minus 2 sin alpha sin beta, then again the answer will come both in cos, but in between in negative plus sign will be replaced by a negative sign. These are the formulas known as product to sum formulas. So all you have finished in your intermediate. Similarly, product to sum, just changing the angles here. This is sum, sine p plus sine q. Now I want to write it in the product form. Write twice sine, add the angles p plus q divided by 2. After sine, you multiply it with cos and subtract the angles p minus q upon 2. Remember. So this sum has been changed into a product form. In case there is a minus sign in between, the right side will remain the same except you bring cos at the first position and bring sine at the second position. Angles are same. In the third case, cos p plus cos q, 2 times cos p plus p by 2 and cos p minus q. Both the terms on the right side will be in cos if there is a plus sign. And if there is a minus sign, both the terms will become in sine. Minus 2 times sine of p plus q by 2 and sine of p minus q by 2. I'm taking one question from exercise 10.4. See, sine phi theta into cos theta. You have to express, this is the product form, you have to express in the sum or difference form, sum as a sum. So we know that sine alpha cos beta, here was 2 in the formula, if you remember. So this 2 I have divided here on the right side, okay. Here was multiplied, so here you can write as 1 upon 2. Inside the bracket will be sine alpha plus beta plus sine alpha minus beta. And if we compare, alpha is 5 theta and beta is 2 theta. Okay. If you just compare your left hand side of the formula, alpha is 5 theta and beta is 2 theta. Just substitute these values here. Alpha 5 theta and beta 2 theta. Again alpha 5 theta, beta 2 theta in the second term. So 5 theta plus 2 theta is 7 theta. And 5 theta minus 2 theta in the second term will become 3 theta. Sine of theta. So half times sine 7 theta plus sine 3 theta. So this product has been expressed in the form of as a sum of the two trigonometry. Similarly, you can do the other parts of this question. Here the author is asking you, express as a product. Now, the difference of the two trigonometric functions has been given. This is the last formula you have studied as from sum to product form. The formula was, if there are two cos and in between is a minus sign, you write minus 2 times sine of addition of the average of the two, taken up. Then you add करके 2 से divide किया. Again sine, take the difference p minus q upon 2. This is the formula you have studied little before. So what is p? Compare the left hand side with the given question. 7 theta is p and simply theta is q. Put the values of p and q. So p is 7 theta and q is simply theta, meaning 1 theta. So 7 plus 1, 8 theta divided by 2 will be 4 theta. And p minus q, so will be 7 theta minus 1 theta, that will be 6 theta. 6 theta divided by 2 will be 3 theta. Questions are not that difficult. So I am sure you can do the remaining questions from the exercise, product to sum and sum to product. Go through the exercise 10.9, chapter 9 and chapter 10. All the related exercises which we have studied about these formulas, the questions you must attempt. Okay. Thank you very much. This is all about today's lecture. Thank you.